Hey everybody, welcome to Tea Time with Amy and Bev. We're back.
We're back.
But wait, there's more.
There's always more.
There is.
Gosh, even when we just get off of our recordings and we'd have a conversation afterwards, it's like some of that stuff should have been recorded. Some of it, not so much, but some of it, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes after we hit stop from the recording, Bev and I continue to talk, kind of do a check-in with some other things in our life and all that. And yes, I agree. Some of it would probably be important to be recorded, but everything is as it is, and it tends to come up when necessary for a recording. It may not be that day, it could be 3 or 4 months later it comes up. And luckily we've had experiences that will contribute to us sharing our growth and expansion and learning and what's working, what didn't work. And that's why we're here. That's why we do this. So
And we're just being open for it. And it's
yeah,
like you were saying in the last video, it's like if you watched us, we've been on here every week. It can change from week to week. I mean, really, things can change from moment to moment. They really do change that fast because God shows you something different. Spirit shows you something different. And it's like, holy smokes, I never thought about it that way. Because we only know what we know. We're only learning whatever we have in front of us right now or whatever we're asking about.
yeah.
It's like we talked about, you can sit in front of Google all day long, but if you don't ask a question, you aren't going to get an answer.
You're just staring at a screen, just like,
Exactly. I spent a big portion of my life, I think, doing that.
oh yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And
Or
that
I
was even,
spent I
huh?
spent a lot of time asking the questions, but emotionally and mentally, I was not in a space to receive or recognize the answer. For
Yeah.
years, I asked the questions. Years, probably a couple decades, I asked questions, but meaning an internal questioning. And no doubt in my mind, now that I know what I know, those answers were readily available to me every day, every time I asked. I just was not in a mental or emotional state of well-being to recognize what those answers or that guidance was.
I hear you completely on that. Really. Excuse
So
me.
it might be the thing that the audience needs. Maybe you're in a space of turmoil in your life right now, chaos, drama, and you're just hanging on to your past experiences, and you don't know what to do, where to go, or well, first of all, you're seeing this video for one. Somehow this popped up into your experience, and so it's important to probably continue listening, and maybe even go check out some of our other videos. But to know that Bev and I also was in a space earlier in our lives where we were experiencing a lot of discord within ourselves, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And we just having that internal question asking, um, guide me. My question or my statement was there's got to be more to life than this. When I was very angry and up and in that shame and guilt space, there's got to be more life than this. And eventually, when I allowed myself to relax and receive and be present, that it started to be revealed to me that yes, there is more to life than what I was experiencing. And so I continue that journey. So that's where we are now, and we come and share this information. So there's hope. We're beacons of hope and light, and here to
And
guide.
change. Yeah. And just being open, really, it's just surrendering. Life looks different when you're surrendering. It doesn't look the way you thought it was going to look.
No, by no means.
But it's interesting though, when you look back at this stuff, like look at all the stuff that you've learned or were guided to learn, how it has been so beneficial to have that knowledge and information, even for the current position that you're working at. You know what I mean? It's like all of it was part of something else. It's just like even for like the channeling part, it was when I was in massage school, going through massage school, and then I knew that, or I had finished massage school and I had to do continuing education courses. And I knew that I could go do Reiki as a continuing education course at that time. I don't know if they allow that anymore for massage, which is bizarre because to me it's should be part of it. Um, but it's like even having that experience and recognizing even during when Marsha Craven, she would say, let go, we'd be doing these attunements and you'd have music on and you'd have your eyes closed and they'd come through and do attunements on your hand and, do different things. And it's like, she's saying, let go. And it's like, I could feel that my body wanted to move and do things, which is bizarre for a person that wants to control everything and, unnerving in a lot of ways. And I never knew what that was, and I didn't try to do anything more with it. And then even to 10 years ago, because my mom transitioned, she had her angelversary in February. So I had gone with my stepdad up to Estes Park and then went through some more training that was like another form of Reiki that I did with a person there, Rosemary, up in Estes Park. And she did this training on me, well, on us in a group that I, at that time, actually felt something within inside of me that felt like bizarre. It felt like something was trying to fit into my bodysuit, my skin suit. And it felt like it was trying to shift my face and stretch it and try to get into the space. And it was a very strange thing. Had no idea what it was. That's 10 years ago. And then not until recently, when you start exploring things, I would say when I became open to receive information, spirit was guiding me to certain things. And then I would find out without this all along, that was something trying to channel through you or trying to, and it's not a bad thing because it didn't feel bad. And it's like, it's really paying attention to that stuff, but also recognizing you've got to have discernment for this stuff. So you have an idea of what you're feeling. Is it okay? Is it safe? Is this dangerous? Because at any moment, if it feels like it's demanding and of your time and expectations and fears and all this other stuff, it's just recognizing all these things. But it's like all of it was a journey to get me to right where I'm at right now. And there's so many things, even the dreams, like there's so many things that are happening that I recognize. There was a time that I didn't have control of my dreams. I was just a bystander in my own experience in a dream, and now it's like anytime probably the last 4 years, I would say anytime I've had dreams, I'm in the dream. Like I'm like making decisions. I'm thinking about things. Why would that happen? Like, I don't understand how, or calling on help if something felt bizarre or strange or scary, and then recognizing there's nothing to be afraid of. So it's like fear keeps you separate from your journey in a lot of ways. It keeps you locked down and you don't explore and then recognize we're all we're like this one huge body, one big huge body of this giant running around, and we're all these cells. And we could be the cancer in that body, or we could be the cell that activates everything in that body and ripples out and heals the whole body. And the universe is just a big huge body. All the universes, when you look at it, is all one big mass of body. And so it's like we have such an influence that we can control things in that way or be guided in that way to recognize things and not be in a space of fear. Because like I said, fear is like what creates cancer and disease, and it creates separation, and there is no need for any of that stuff. Not for me any longer. I would say there's no need, but on the other side of that, spirit would say there is a need, because if someone still has something to learn from that, it's still going to show up in their experience because there's something to learn. But when you become neutral, you recognize that everything is just as it should be. There is nothing wrong. There is no lack, unless you want to get into that, jump on that train over there, it says it's lack, or you want to jump on that one over there, it says abundance. Because they'll say the same thing. I can sit out here and look at the orchard and think, like I've heard some people say, oh, they're taking all this water. Well, on the other side of that, what is it going to bring to us? It's like, what do you want to feed this? Like, what do you want to feed in your life? Do you want to feed the fear, or do you want to feed the abundance? And I decided I want to feed the abundance. Now, every once in a while, I might catch myself in the lack mentality, but immediately I'm recognizing I don't have to be in that space, because like you said in the last video, it's a choice.
Well, I like you using the analogy of the body, because I've been thinking that too for a while, is just thinking, I mean, you think about the smallest of bugs, like inside of us is the smallest of whatever, molecules, atoms, whatever the term is for that. And then there's the universe, And we're just, it keeps, there's so much more than us. And I don't know how to articulate it in words right now, but the idea that you made a comment and now I lost it. Dang it. Oh, it was the when you were talking about that analogy of the body and the universe, that we can heal it or we can continue to damage it. And if you think about it, the wars, the drugs, all that, think about that in terms of cancer. Cancer is triggered by your life experiences that you internalize and you hang on to, and it activates that cancer cell. Everybody has cancer cells, by the way, as far as science has shown so far. Like, we all have a cancer cell, and it depends on how it gets activated. Now take that externally and say, okay, cancer cells are the war on drugs, the war on each other, killing each other. So there are diseases outside of us that are being shown to us every day: anger, shame, guilt, criticism, judgment. All that is disease, dis-ease, not disease, dis-ease. And all of that we internalize, we hang on to it, and then we create dis-ease in our body. And then we go to the doctor to have them fix our body, when really internally we have all the chemicals we need in our body to fix it. And we also have everything we need within ourselves to fix the external, but it depends on what we're focused on. So if you're focused on the war, the crimes, the rapes, the murder, if you're focused on all the detrimental things that we're viewing as detrimental, because that's a whole nother conversation. If we're perceiving that as all wrong and we're putting our fear-based energy into it, we're feeding it, and it's growing and it's amplifying. But if we are like, okay, that doesn't feel good, we know that doesn't feel good to focus on that. We know it doesn't feel good to have the conversations about it. You get tense, you get tight, you just, your body, you just right? You want to duke it out with somebody. Well, we know that doesn't feel good in our body. So when you look on the other side and go, okay, if I don't like this that I've been focused on for so long, then what can I do different so I do like what I'm focusing on? Well, you got to change your attention. You got to change your focus. You got to change what you're looking at and how you're perceiving things, to internalize it in such a way that it brings peace into your body and calmness. The more you're relaxed, the more your body heals, and the more your blood flows through your body, and the more energy, good vibrational energy you emanate out into the world. And so having the knowledge. Now, if you would have talked to me about this 30 years ago, I'd have looked at you cross-eyed and thought, well, what the hell planet did you come off of? Because I don't have a clue what you're saying to me right now. But this is becoming regular conversation now. People are having these conversations out in public. It's no longer being hidden and in the basement and secret. Like, we're having these conversations. And so have the conversations, talk to people, get input, see what they're thinking about. Notice how the conversations feel to you. Your body is going to tell you how it feels. I've been teaching my clients this, and they come back to me and they're like, man, 2 weeks, in a 2-week span, man, I've been really listening and recognizing my body as I'm having conversations with my friends and family, and it's really uncomfortable, and I don't like it, and I just don't want to have these conversations anymore. Great. What are you going to do to change it? Because you're the only one that can do that. You either stop having the conversations, you redirect the conversations, you change the people you're talking to. It's okay no matter what your decision is, because every piece of it is part of your learning and growth and expansion for you to evolve. What I feel is to be and do better within yourself, so you can be and do better in the world, which means you're emanating a different energy that is more from a loving space that is going to change the external when we change the internal. Got a little excited on that. So Got to
I
bring that
like it.
energy with it. Did you feel that? I'm like, wow.
I like it.
I
I
get
like
amped
it.
up, man. It just comes through.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like even thinking about the cancer cell, the good cells aren't going to kill the cancer cells, but we can shift them, we can change them. And also something I've recognized recently, I don't try, before I was always like trying to fix or trying to, give them information and all this stuff. And it's really about the journey within. I'm here to help guide you to go back within yourself. If
Yes.
you're going to ask me for directions or ask me for stuff, if you're open for it, then whatever information is what the information flows through. But it's not to be reliant on myself to fix the things, because I'm just going to tell people you have to go within. If this is a you journey. This isn't a me journey. This is the journey for everybody when you do these journeys, because you give permission for other people in your own home, in your own families, that the people that are closest to you, your coworkers, they start noticing a difference within you, and they start having and asking whether it's the same journey that you're gone on. That asking is what creates things. I wasn't the person that was asking questions growing up because, I felt like I had to have all the answers because I had to be independent. I had to be independent. I had to figure it out, period. And it's like, that's the way I thought forever. And I don't think that way anymore. I'm not in that same space, which is very freeing. It's very freedom. I've stepped into a space of freedom, not even knowing what freedom was when I was asking for it, because it wasn't what I thought it would have looked like. And it's turned out to be, it feels peaceful. It feels like I have lots of options. I'm not limited. I'm limitless. Like it's all these different things. So it's like, no, I love the conversation. I love the excitement of the conversation. And it's also knowing we can have these conversations all the time. But don't be afraid and don't just give up when you start having these conversations, not you, but for our audience as we're talking to them and talking to each other. Because sometimes when we start having these conversations initially, it's so bizarre. It doesn't, you're not used to having these conversations. So even saying it might be there, someone will ask you a question and it'll throw you off balance and you're like, I don't know. But that throwing you off balance creates more questions within self, so you can get more answers. So then you shift some more. So it's like we're constantly shifting. You can't stop evolution. You can't. It can't be stopped. You can struggle against it, but you may decide that, okay, you give up and no longer want to hold on to this physical body, but you're still going to evolve. There is evolution that's going to happen no matter what. That's just the way it is. And we can be in a space of fear looking at all the things that are happening in the world, or we can go within and recognize there is no fear. Since I've been meditating for the last whatever it's been, we'll just call it a month. Since I've been meditating for the month, every time I start getting into that space where I feel like I'm in a different energy that doesn't feel peaceful, it's meditation. There's nothing that stops me. And meditation could be, we've talked about it so many different ways, but one of the things that have been so beneficial, Suzanne Giesemann talks about doing 4 breaths in and, a count of 4 with a breath in and then a count of 6 with a breath out, and do it 3 times. And it's like you will automatically reset yourself into that space of peace. You take yourself out of that fight or flight. You stimulate the vagus nerve. There's so many different things that are happening in the physical body, the 3D, it's changing, it's shifting the way you're feeling and seeing things. So as soon as you do that, now you're more open to possibilities. You're not restricted. Just like when you think about it, when you're in fight or flight mode, your brain's not getting all the blood, your limbs and stuff it's shooting off your freaking insulin levels. Like people have an insulin issue in the United States or around the world because you've been living in fight or flight forever. And it's like learning new tools. It's not getting a new pill. It's learning new tools. It's learning how to breathe through these things. It's knowing when you have this pain to stop and honor it and acknowledge it. Don't just push it aside and act like it's not there, because just acknowledging that pain can make that pain go away. Just acknowledging that and not claiming things. Don't claim like that this is this and I've been diagnosed with this, so now I have this. And by claiming things, you actually bring it more into your experience, not as a punishment, because that's what you're feeding, that's what you're focused on. So it's like this whole journey. We're going on this whole journey, and really it's just to go back within. It's to hear the conversation that someone said, even if you kind of fumbled around a bit when you first started out, because I fumbled around all the time. But I also realized it's not me, it's us. We have this collective consciousness. We have God. We have all the stuff that's available to us at all times. We have our guides. I didn't put much effort into guides or any of that kind of stuff until I started reading the book I'm reading right now, which is about channeling. And it's about Oren and Devin, which is two people that got together and started channeling. They channel differently, but they're both bring this channel forward as they're giving out messages that are helping people. So, or guiding. I shouldn't even say helping, because it's guiding, because really nobody needs help. They need guidance, and guidance within to help them to understand how they're keeping them in the space where they're at.
Yes. And everybody's going to do it differently.
Yeah.
We might
Thank
have
you.
similar experiences, but we're not all going to do the same.
No.
If you lined up all the channelers that there are in the world who are out in the public, who have exposed themselves as being channelers, and for the audience, a channeler is somebody who can sit and, or not sit, but be open to the energy of spirit, whatever that spirit looks like, the deceased loved ones, spirit guides, ascended masters, angels, archangels, God, whatever that is, that energy. It's all energy. So you can call it what you want. Spirit doesn't care what you call it. It's all energy. But a channeler allows that information from the universe source, the energies to flow to them, and then they are able to speak those messages. And it's not something that is coming from me or coming from Bev. It's an information, you call it a download, that's coming to us and through us. I never thought in past, as I was teaching and stuff, as being a channeler, but now I say, listen, if you're in my class and I start talking, you better take notes, because I'm going to guarantee you I'm not going to remember what I said, because the information is coming to me and I'm saying it. And by the time I get done saying what I have to say, I have no idea what I said. So that's how information comes to me, is when I'm teaching. And it took me a while to recognize that. So we allow ourselves to be in a space to receive that divine guidance. And again, you can label it whatever you want to. So, but if you lined up and put all these channelers together, they're all going to have different journeys of how they got to being open to being able to bring these messages forward. All their journeys will be different.
All of them. And they channel differently. They communicate with different beings or energies, however you want to look at it.
Different titles, different names.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty fascinating. And if you just realize that we're in these bodies and they're just antennas, and it's like it's going to tune into wherever we're focused on. So if I want to focus on the 3D, then I'll be tuned into the 3D. So I'm having that as a channel. I could channel probably all kinds of good stuff, maybe from a 3D perspective. But for me, it's like there's more. I know that spirits put into my mind this expansive stuff, like knowing to stand on a beach, or like even like last night with this bombing and stuff that has happened, to call on a certain number of angels, like a legion of angels, to create a grid around the planet, and to be able to release everything that does not pertain to love. If it's not of love, it's to be let go of. And it's I've been guided to do it numerous times. So it's like it's being more expansive. But again, I would probably say, I even told Freeman a couple nights ago, if you would have ever, ever, ever told me that I'd be talking about God the way that I talk about God now, I would have told you you are full of crap, honestly. But it's like I have such faith and knowing in God now. It's unquestionable. It's unshakable. You can sit in here and tell me all the spirit stuff and all these things, and it's like, I believe in God, and I know there's a reason for it. And if there's an asking for people for a change, and change gets facilitated in ways that we don't have control over it, but it's to be able to witness it and write it through and have that trust and faith and know that everything's gonna be fine. You've got people that are millionaires and have lived and not even just being millionaires, but have lived a whole life and not been touched by things, because it's like that's not their focus. And it's not because they're living with their heads in the sand. It's because it's not something that they need to learn from.
It's interesting. Life is interesting, and the more we learn in from the spiritual aspects, the more fun it gets. I just think it's so fascinating and fun and exciting. And I want to learn more. I want to open up to more. The idea that even 20 years ago, I didn't want to be on this planet. I wanted to take my life. I didn't want to keep living this life because of the space I was in with myself. But now that I've learned so much more about us and and it's from my perspective and it's what works for me and the people that I listen to on podcasts and spiritual teachers and even influencers, the language that is being used of energy and spirit and connection and community and things like that from a loving space. I'm excited I decided to stay because I'm learning so much and I get to be that one of who knows how many on the planet of beacons of hope, to be that light, to be that guide on a journey to help others see their own greatness and to tap into their higher vibrational selves and to know that life is meant to be a journey of joy and fun and playfulness, not the stuff that we were raised with and experienced. And so the journey of having the trauma, drama, chaos, and learning to heal within yourself, and continue that journey and then be that beacon of hope for others. And that's what Bev and I do. That's why we show up every week doing this, the Tea Time with Amy and Bev. A recording comes out every week. We've not missed a week in almost 4.5 years. So you can see us as we've grown and evolved and changed, and our language has changed, meaning the words that we use, our body language has changed. I've had so many people tell me, like, you don't even look like you're aging. I don't feel like I'm aging because I feel like I look amazing for my age. And it's because of the healing I've done within myself. And I will attest to that. I will not blame it or contribute. Yes, I do take care of my skin with skincare products, but I am not going to say that was the thing, because I could have still taken care of my skin and hanging on. Anger, anger, guilt, shame, criticism, judgments, fears, that will all deteriorate your body. And I have seen people my age that I know, and I listen to them and I hear them, the words that they use, I hear what they're still hanging on to from their past, and it is killing them inside. It's that dis-ease inside their body is just deteriorating them. And all I can do is send them love, because nobody can change their life. Nobody can change their state of being or their state of mindset, or their spiritual connection. They have to want to change it. I cannot do it for them, but what I can do is keep showing up and keep having these conversations with Bev and other people and be that beacon of hope and light. And that's what I can do. I just be the example. So you get to choose. You get to choose your journey. Is it fear or love? Is it peace or turmoil? Where do you want to be and what feels best to you? And it's going to change. It's going to change as you go on your journey. So just look in that mirror, because that's the person who's going to save you. That's the person who needs your love. Because when you do that, you show up in the world differently. Do it for yourself so you can show up differently. So this is why Bev and I show up, to have these conversations. We're hoping you're having these conversations with your friends, family, coworkers, and people out in public, and be that beacon of hope, or at least keep asking the questions to receive the guidance to help you get on a path that's going to feel better to you than where you're at right now. So do you have any final words about any of this, Bev?
I do. I have a friend, a pretty close friend, that she had experiences and she didn't want to. I'm going back to when you were talking about not wanting to be on the planet, because I didn't want to be on the planet at a certain stage. But if you stop and look at, like, let's just say that you went to a party and you didn't want to go there, but at the end, you just didn't want to do it. But at the end of it, you get home and it's like you realize all the benefits that you got from that party.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I would have killed myself when I was the teenager, when I was the young person, I wouldn't be at this place where I'm at right now, enjoying all the fruits that the universe has to offer to you. And from this experience, I would have missed out on it. So it's to stop and look and see sometimes, what would you have missed out on by not being here? I would have missed out on my grandkids. I would have missed out on my kids. I would have missed out on you. There's so many things that I would have missed out on had I taken the other route.
And if you, I mean, let's go into another conversation that we could just stop right now. And so we can start another recording. But the idea that thinking about the other way, you would have been in spirit, we would have been in spirit if we would have chosen that route, and we would have been there for all of that. We would have seen it all. We've been a part of all of it. The humans still on the planet would have missed out on you and your evolution, my evolution, my joy, the love I have, the hugs I get to give. Like the people that would have remained on the planet would have missed out. And so us being here is a gift.
It is.
We're a gift to each other. We're a gift to our friends and our families. We're a gift in bringing these words forward. We would have, they would have missed out on this.
Yes.
And the suck part, again, another conversation for a topic is, and then I would have had to been born and start all over again. And that doesn't even sound appealing to me right now, even though I probably will come back, no doubt, with a different energy. But the idea of where I was and hanging on to that and taking my life, the idea that I would have to come back and start over, kind of going through all of that again, it's like keep taking the same class over and over and over till you can pass and move on to the next. Yeah, that didn't appeal to me. And again, that's a whole nother conversation, but just bringing that forward, that's kind of how my brain thinks sometimes. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to do that again. So I better, let's see if we can get good at it this time. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm glad I did. So just,
yeah. And there's always tomorrow, and it always looks differently.
Yeah. And so both of us, I'm going to speak for both of us, that we switched our energy from being that cancer cell of the body, of the whole, of the collective, to the universe, to being the healing elements of the body, the pieces of our body that are natural to us, that when we tap into it, miracles happen. Doctors don't know how to explain it. They just tell you keep doing what you're doing because whatever you're doing is working, but they don't want to hear about it. So you get to decide. You're going to continue to be the dis-ease of the energy in this world, or are you going to be the healing elements of the body? Fear or love? It's a choice.
Be what the body's been asking for.
Feed it. Which side's going to win? The one you feed.
Exactly.
That's the story. All right, my friends. Thanks for hanging out with us. Tea Time with Amy and Bev. Our channel is actually called Amy and Bev Community. We're on iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Podcast Addict, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify. We're all over, so you can find us. We show up to have these conversations to help other people, to be the light, to be hope. And we hope that you are having these conversations as well. If you do not feel comfortable having those conversations, share the content with a video link. And whether it's ours or somebody else's, whatever is resonating with you and helping you heal and grow and learn and expand, share that information with other people because other people are seeking it. So with that, thanks for hanging out with us. Tea Time with Amy and Bev. We appreciate you. We appreciate your energy. We appreciate your time. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.